Khadija and Yuma are two sisters that live together and they rent an apartment unit in Toronto. They're recently advised that their beautiful unit that they love living in, the rent's going to be increased by $7,000 per month. So they currently pay $2,500 and the landlord informed them that their rent will be going up to $9,500 a month. And of course they were in complete shock. They thought this must be a joke. And because they raised their concerns a little bit, the landlord said, well, you know what, because you're complaining, I'm going to raise your rent to $7,000. And that's just, it's absolutely ludicrous. Can the landlord do this? Yes, they absolutely can here in Ontario. Raise your rent by whatever amount they feel like raising it to, because if you live in a unit or an apartment that was built and first occupied after November 15th, 2018, your building is not under rent control. So they do admit that they were aware of this fact, but of course, like any normal, reasonable human being, no one had ever guessed that a landlord or homeowner would raise your rent by $7,000 per month. And they really feel that the landlord just wants them out. So hopefully the landlord will relent and say to them, you know what, I just had a bad moment. And we're going to stick you with the $3,500 a month, which is still high, but it's not $7,000. We will see how this story unfolds. So maybe you are living in a unit that's not under rent control, or you're about to look for a place to live and you're a little bit nervous about this happening to you. So how can you prevent it? You really cannot prevent the amount that a landlord decides to raise your rent for in a unit or home that was built after November 15, 2018 and occupied for the first time. But there are a few little signs that you can look out for at the beginning to ensure you don't walk down this road. First of all, you might want to avoid units that are not under rent control. And the hard part of that is a lot of these units are all newer and they are generally in very good condition. And a lot of tenants, and I've noticed it myself as an agent, a lot of landlords provide a subpar accommodations for their tenants who are paying very, very good money to rent their place. And it's embarrassing to me as an agent when I go into properties like this and think, oh my goodness, I cannot believe they have someone living here like that. And sometimes you might think, oh, it's just the tenants, maybe they're messy, trashing the place. But when you pull up, you can see the exterior. You just kind of know that this landlord is not going to be on top of that food chain. Avoid units that are not under rent control. Really, like I said, so this year the increase is 2.5%. For 2024, it's also 2.5%. That way you can avoid surprises. If the price seems way too cheap for what you're seeing oftentimes, probably the landlord is not going to be taking care of that unit. So if you're looking through the paper and looking online, the price seems rock bottom, like, ooh, you might want to avoid that. Might be a sign of a bad landlord. If the landlord is demanding that you pay for your rent upfront for a year, demanding, not initiated by you, the tenant, he might be a nightmare landlord. When you pull up, is the garden unkempt, the landscaping in terrible condition, are the appliances broken? That's a sign you might be dealing with a nightmare landlord. Is there no power in the house when you get there? Your landlord says, oh yeah, the power's going on tomorrow or whatnot. He's got some kind of a story. You might be dealing with a nightmare landlord. Are they rushing you through the house, not taking time to answer your questions, showing you everything, allowing you to set the pace of the showing? You might be dealing with a nightmare landlord. Was the landlord uncommunicative? Are they responding to you late? Did they show up to your appointment late? Did they cancel previous appointment? You might be dealing with a nightmare landlord. So tenants often think that it's only the landlord's job to check you out as a tenant, but I'm telling you, use this as an opportunity to also check out the landlord as well, because you want to work with somebody who cares about their place, who cares about the condition of their place, who wants to make sure appliances are working. They want to make sure that you're happy and comfortable so that you'll remain there as a long-term tenant. Hope you found this helpful.